live in a dream state. To dream or not to dream depends on the dreaming. There is a dream that we live in. It creates our reality. Versus there is dreaming big for goals, for things in life that comes from our imagination, that comes from our heart. That is the kind of dreaming that we need to get to. Okay? Adyashanti wrote a book, and it's called Falling into Grace. And a lot of this came from his inspirational words and a podcast I listened to, this first part. He talked about how, as children, we walk through the world with a sense of wonder. And quote, "Children know they do not know." We put a name on a tree, right? We call it tree. Children don't necessarily think that way. They'll see a plant growing that may be, interesting looking, and they'll go and they'll, see how many different colors leaves there are. They'll wonder how an odd location, how it started growing there. They seek to really know anything before them, whether a tree or a person, in its entirety, without any preconception that they know it. Often they'll just run by a bug, but most of the time my kids will pick and prod and they'll wonder where it's going. They'll sometimes question whether a certain cricket is even a cricket. They're interested in seeing it and in knowing it. We, as big people, we think we know it all. We walk around as we know it. Again, children, on the other hand, they know they don't know. Adults, we walk around in a dream state with opinions, beliefs, branding on people that they are this, they are that, conclusions based on our mind's interpretation, all throughout the day, all throughout life, in that dream state. Adyashanti explains, it is literally sleepwalking. When we do not sit back and question our mind's thoughts for any amount of time, whether morning or night, throughout the day, we allow ourselves to sleepwalk. We're in a dream state. The sad reality, we have a whole set of opinions, conclusions, belief about what someone did, what they said, and we just continue to walk in that. But the sad result, we lose opportunities for intimate experiences in life. Isn't that the very thing that we crave? We miss out on everything beyond our mind's thoughts. We miss out on opportunities where we're sitting there and we're aware of maybe a fear or judgment, and we just say, okay, that's a fear or judgment. Let me open my mind to intuition, to my heart. And often, the truth of the matter, other things come to light that enable real, true human connection. We miss out on all of that when we are not aware that we are living in a dream state. A couple of examples. In the program of 12 steps, in step 4, we write out, people belabor as well as are afraid of step 4. It is one of the hardest, well, I think all of them are magnificently written. It dramatically transformed my life. But in step 4, we write out our character defects. I don't like that word, but we write out our patterns of thought. Fears, resentment, self-pity, self-will, all kinds of stuff. Then, if you have a good sponsor, you'll write in a column right next to it, what was my part? People get stuck in resentment and fear. Resentment, he said, she said, they did this, I did. It wasn't necessarily resentment, but it was just shame and fear. I'll get into an example. But in that column, when we write our part, if we are not thinking outside our conclusions that justify the resentments and the fear, we don't get to the truth of our part that contributed to the very thing we may be resentful for. We see the real cause of another's words or behaviors that may have hurt us. Then that is justification, like I said, for our resentments. A personal life example. The truth is, I did a brave thing, a very loving thing. I allowed an ex to give a verbal amends. Joyfully told them, nothing more, that's it. I have moved on. Joyful. And I left joyously knowing that, wow, the program does really work. Interpretation in another's mind. Opinion, belief, conclusion, the mind's illusion that allowing another to give an amends to me was betrayal of them. Walking in that sleepwalking state, that conclusion led to further shaming and vehemently cruel words to me, criticizing all my fellowship of friends that support me, male and female. And so what do we do when there is a conclusion and a belief that we cannot control in another? We can control our reaction to it. Another example where this is so powerful is public life. Truth. I was violently assaulted, stalked online, exploited, and a lot of horrible things. While struggling with addiction, I got sober. The assault and other stuff happened. I spiraled. I spiraled in so much pain that was interpreted as crazy, unstable, addict, slut. And the response of the conclusion and the belief became shaming. Instead of looking deeper into what is this woman going through? What was my part? Because the press also has a responsibility to cover human struggle truthfully. So personal example is belief, conclusion, mind's thoughts in control, completely living in a dream state, sleepwalking, and the wreckage that it can create in our lives. Or a public interpretation of a mental health crisis and the wording and the branding and the conclusion, that negates discovery of the truth. It separates human beings from having a connection with the larger society. It separates intimate partners from each other. I, on the other hand, know that all the juicy nuggets of truth, all the real, intuitive, emotionally mature discoveries about another and about ourselves happen when we are not in that dream walking state. When we say, I don't know if I know. When we are like in the frame of mind of children, they know they don't know, and they'll go and explore, or they'll ask questions, the whole litany of questions about something, someone, where, how, why. We have forgotten to do that as adults. We have forgotten to do that, and we miss out on real human growth and connection. When we are aware of that, life becomes manageable on a daily basis. We don't enter that running to standstill state. And then we can get to the dreaming that we should be doing. Then we can get to dreaming big for love and joy. That dreaming is good. Dream, sleepwalking, set in stone beliefs, opinions, conclusions, interpretations. I don't want to be in that. I don't want to assume that my mind is right. And I have an over-analytical brain. But I flip that. I flip it to say, okay, what was my contribution? What do I need to own up to? Maybe another's words or behaviors were a result of this. And maybe I don't know anything about what is going on in somebody's life. And I'm forgetting anything that anybody does is either an act of love or a cry for love. That, to me, is exciting. It is a huge relief to say, I don't know if I know why or the reason somebody did something. It really has nothing to do with me. It is their story. So when we read headlines and things that brand people negatively, let's not repeat the things that are said, because we don't really know what happened with somebody's tragedy. And when we are interacting in interpersonal relationships and somebody says something or texts something, like, look beyond it. We don't know. Ask, inquire, dig, and be present with open ears to hear the truth, to embrace it, to grow from it. I have a dream for 2023. I have a dream that you explore nature, every little detailed piece of it. That the next time you run into a feather on the beach, on the sidewalk, on the city street, that maybe you pick it up and you don't give a damn if there's germs on it. You look at every little detail of it and you ask yourself, I wonder all the places that this may have traveled. Give it a few seconds, carry it with you, stick it in a book. You have no idea where that feather has been. It isn't just a quote-unquote feather. It actually enabled a living thing to fly all over. I also have a dream. Separate from nature, I have a dream that you'll think outside the word that you put on someone and what happened. Think outside your mind's branding and interpretation. My dream for everybody and myself for 2023 is not letting our minds limit our good dreaming in any way. Watching for when fear and judgment and shame are limiting our belief in love, are stifling our hope, are preventing from truly living and embracing all the good that is in this day right now. I dream that none of those feelings, none of those thoughts enter shades of gray into your big, bold, magnificent picture of what you hope grows in your life next year. Painting a picture so beautiful and grand that there is no doubt in your mind that has a chance to last. I dream more people awaken from their dream-walking state. I dream more people truly see the full beauty of every single thing and every individual that might come their way. I dream that minds, all of ours, are put in check every single day. I dream that we all remember we are not bodies nor the thoughts our mind makes. That we always remember we are infinite beings, whole, perfect, and complete. I dream that you embrace the moment that love and joy come to your doorstep, and that your mind doesn't create illusions that destroy those things, causing hurt and pain to another. I dream you remember that everyone does the best they can in this finite life with a limited mind. And most of all, I dream that you never shame again. We are all infinite beings, whole, perfect, and complete. We can remember this truth when we become far more aware of our mind's attack thoughts. I love you all. Please share your dreams for 2023 in the chat and in the comments messaging me. And just know everything is moving towards your dreams in 2023. Sending hugs, sending a reminder to join me on Sunday at 5 for Healing Connection. I love you all. Happy New Year.